Good evening. It is 8:39 on Thursday, October the 26th. Or make that the 25th, rather, of October 2012. I have come to you for this simple reason: to express my love and my concern over several entities of my life at this point. I find myself in a place where I've been many times. You know, a year ago, I was in Morristown, Tennessee, trying to figure out what had happened to me. As of today, I reflect back a year ago. The first week of October was General Conference, as normally it is in the LDS church that I belong to. I don't know how to quite put my thoughts into perspective as of right now. There's some things going on in my life right now that's kind of sort of crazy. Let me scoot up here a minute. But I want you to know that over the last few months of my life, I've done some heavy reflecting. There's a lot that's going on right now in my own personal entail of my life that I'm trying to deal with. To give a one-word answer, I'm searching for something inside of myself. I sat this evening and I thought, well, I did my first broadcast on my radio station in over a little over a week this morning. I'm going to do a second broadcast this evening sometime between now and before I go to bed. I can say this much: I need your prayers, I need your support. Right now I'm trying to get everything that I need to do in order to go ahead and get myself dealt with in some manner. It's very hard to be in my shoes right now because I'm in between different aspects of my life. Right now it's just kind of hard for me to put a number on things. I'm trying to get the last little bit of my life that I can live made to the best. You know, just recently I had a little discussion with a lady that kind of broke my heart in a way, and she's wanted some distance, so I have given her distance. So basically I'm trying right now to put what I want in my life, what makes me happy, how to make myself happy. I've never knew internal happiness before. Sometimes it bothers me that, I'm not up there. I have people put on pedestals and trying to live up to their expectations of myself. I can't do that any longer. It's killing me. I don't know how to sit and explain to the people of my church. I don't know how to explain to my friends that have supported me over the years in church. But I can say this much: I'm trying to do the best that I have in my means, my ability, and my time. And basically it's, kind of an interesting deal. I find myself in positions that I've never been in before, between many rocks and many hard spots and many waves. I don't know how to express the concerns that I've got on my mind at this time. I can't put them in perspective. But I can say this much. I'm literally fighting inside of myself a battle that I know that I have the strength to win. I also have the strength to do what I got to do. A little less than a year ago, I started watching these people with postcards, with index messages, and I'm going to do one of those soon. I don't know how soon that may be, but I can say this much. Every time I think about seeing this one dude that did his, and just a few days shortly after he did his, I read in the Inherm on Huffy Post News or Huffington Post or whatever, that he had committed suicide. I can tell you today, my friends and loved ones and people who genuinely care for me and call me their friend or their family, one message I can put out, one message that I can do, one message is all I've got left, and that's the only thing I can tell you. I know for a fact a lot of people has lost faith in me, a lot of people has lost interest in me, a lot of people just don't want to have anything to do with me. I understand from some perspective of why that is. I reached out this morning and wrote 2 letters, and I'm hoping that the 2 letters that I wrote to the 2 individuals, they get them, and they read them. I'm to the point in my life where I'm trying to start over. I've had many starts. I've had many starts with religions. I've had many fresh starts with people. But the people that I want a fresh start with probably will never understand why. I know that, my Heavenly Father loves me. He respects me, and He knows me personally. I also know that some people on this planet love me. We're supposed to love one another. I can say this much: this is one of the more trying things I've ever done in my life, and that's try to be the person that I see in my head and my heart. Right now, I'm trying to hold on to the last straws, if you will. And the last straws I've got to hang on to is being very thin. I'm having to deal with so many people at one time, pulling and tugging, wanting this out of me, that out of me. Some people wanting money out of me. I live on less than $1,000 a month. Way less than $1,000 a month. I could care less That's what I've got that God has presented me to. I'm not a very rich or wealthy man. I don't profess to be one. I'm trying to start a company from the scratchiest piece of flour to make it into a grand finale later on in my life. The paperwork that Washington Federal Communications Council, the Internal Revenue, the State Revenue, the National Press Association, the State Press Association, they're forms that I have never saw in length before that is kind of overwhelming me at this time. Before I can even have a number to even go get credit established in order to purchase camera supplies, camera equipment, in order to do the kind of news that I want to cover. I don't want to cover politics. Well, in some ways politics will fall in line, but I would like to cover the news of the people, of what their concerns is. I don't care what Iraq, Iran, Canada, South America, India, Africa, or any of those other places has going on in their lives. That's their business, that's their country. We should mind our own business. We should mind our own business and stay at home. Get our troops home as quickly as possible. You know, I think that it's time we start minding our own business and trying to keep our other countries that is around us, give them their guidelines. Make them live by the same code that they force us to live under. Some of them buy weapons from us, some desires big lots of money from us. You'll have to pardon me, I've had a long day. Also, I can tell you this much. As fall is approaching, I do more thinking. Every fall I go through this process of, you know, I hear people telling me, I hear what's coming out of your mouth, and I hear what people are genuinely saying to me. But I can also say, sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I really truly wonder if the words coming out of your mouths, President Obama, Mitt Romney, the rest of everybody who's running for running for the president, do you really mean what you're saying? Because if you do, I'd like to see this piece of legislation enacted. You know, California can do a recall vote to recall their governor or any state office holder or office holder. Let's do this. You've got the first year to prove yourself. If 1,000 signatures is gathered per state, we can recall our president, our vice president, and so on and so forth. Congress, the Senate. I think we, the people, who vote you in, deserve that right. I sit and I listen to people's gossip all the time about this politician, that politician. Let's also enact legislation to keep everything very quiet. Whatever you've done in your past, whatever you're trying to keep from, you know, bringing back into your memory, or whatever, we need to address each other as what we are, individuals. We don't need to go digging dirt, and if you want to dig dirt, go out in a field and start digging somewhere. But let's just put it this way. You've got skeletons in your closet like I've got in mine. Some more than others. I can say this much. It is with my great hope and dignity that the vote that I cast not long back, I hope that the candidates that I voted for win. I am a Republican, a very liberal Republican, if it will. You know, I see people every single day talk about this or talk about this piece of politics, that piece of politics. Are we going to get what we want, or are we just going to be status quo and screwed again? My brothers and my sisters and my people, my friends, don't you think we need to have a better America where we have the say of what goes on in this country better than what two people that is sitting in the White House, such as the president and vice president, do whatever? I can tell you this much. It pains me daily. Let's reverse the tables. Let's reverse the tables for a minute. I think it would be a little bit different in this country. The poor would be having a bigger voice than the middle class, some of the middle class, some of the upper class, and definitely the mighty powerful wealthy. Mr. Donald Trump, I've got a few things I would like to say to you. Offering $5 million for a president that's sitting in office to any charity or whatever. Why don't you take that $5 million that you're willing to offer President Barack Obama, just because you want to see what his grades was or what schools he went to? Let's reveal how many times that bankruptcy has been filed in your corporation. Let's see how many times that you've had government bailouts. Let's see how much time that you spent getting free money wherever it's at. Mr. Trump, I would really influence you, would like to influence your decision in this. Take the $5 million, go down to the poorest sections of New York, and each state in the Union for that fact, and go in under every underpass in America. Find people that doesn't have a pot or a kettle to tittle in. Make your money work for you and get out and give money to the people that really deserve it. The people who are struggling to try to find a roof over their head instead of a refrigerator box or a whatever boxes are out there. I just got to thinking about this today. $5 million to give to charities or whatever. Let's do this. Mr. Trump, you wanted to run for president of this country. You desired so. And Mr. Trump, let's get right down to it a minute. I see every day of my life people that struggle to make ends meet. I see people every single day that lives on a salary that's less becoming of their education. And I'm seeing in America come down the runway if people don't take notice and understand two possibilities. One, when this country fails, and it's going to fail mightily hard, it's going to fail to the point where nobody can get anything. Every single time I go to the grocery store, I'm paying more for my groceries, more for my stuff. When I go to other stores to do shopping to get cleaning goods, I'm seeing those go through the roof lately. I used to buy brand name products. I could afford to do so. Not anymore. Mr. Trump, I would implore you to come to Lexington, Kentucky and walk around the forest of these neighborhoods here. Go to eastern Kentucky. Walk through the mountains of eastern Kentucky with people. Not just to see the nicer homes or the people that's in middle class, got big jobs, big, whatever. Mr. Trump, I'm employing you. You show a show called The Apprentice where you get these people to fight to get to the top, to you to hire them, and if you don't making a cut, you sit there and say you're fired. Mr. Trump, might I implore you to come to the most distressed places that I've seen in my lifetime. I've lived a distressed lifestyle. When my mother could not teach anymore, when everything went to hell on a handbasket, so to speak, I saw the other side of life. It's not funny. Mr. Romney, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You brought a lot of people out. Maybe you'd helped over the years as your bishop or whatever, sitting in the bishop's seat or whatever. And here you're sitting here telling people this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to go get done, this is what you're undoing. Well, let me inform you of something. And also Barack Obama. You know, there is a third candidate named Gary Johnson running, which I cast a ballot lovingly for him. I hope he wins. But I can say this much. I have more faith in a third candidate than I do you two. President Obama, you went to the LGBT community and made a promise to them. Are you going to live up to that promise after your election day, which is not too far off? President Obama, you stated that it was changed. You wanted national health care, which you passed, which is making me pay out the wazoo for my health care right now. I'm having money took out of my checks every single month because of some of the policies that is now starting to take effect. If you really want to change things, why don't you fix it to where people can afford things and do things for each other? You know, I looked at a lady the other day that she was sitting and figuring up. She told me roughly $951 a month. To give her $21 a raise or $27 or whatever it is on Social Security that her husband worked a lifetime for. She stayed home and took care of the children to make sure that they were a success. And her husband died while time working. You know what I think? I think if the tables was turned, you got the money that these people on Social Security disability and also teachers' retirement and state salary retirements, but they've had their pockets all the time on the state level, the federal level, and everywhere else in order to retire very comfortably to where they can drive their Mercedes, their Jaguar, their Audi, or whatever else other car out there, the Range Rover, Bentley's, Rolls Royce. I went in one neighborhood yesterday evening to do some home teaching for my church, and in the Mormon church you are given families to go see and visit once a month. Some across America never gets to be seen, and this guy made a comment as we were leaving his house. He'd never had home teachers in 14 years. I was glad to holler back at him as we were leaving, "You got 'em now." But getting back to this situation, and also I think the church members across America should know the fair truths and what their people are preaching behind their pulpits, the hate messages that's coming behind the pulpit against people. Christ hung out with slaves, he hung out with whores, he hung out with sinners, and he hung out with people of less quality than some of the people on this planet. What did Jesus do? He forgave those that basically had nothing. I can go around here in Lexington. I can go in any major city, any town of America. There's a section of houses that you can go look at that is multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires, and they've got it on the backs. Some of them has actually worked for it. But I can say this much. Some got it by their bloodline. So President Obama, Mitt Romney, and Gary Johnson, this message is for you this next few minutes. Come election day, you better seek to do change, because I'll tell you what, I'm asking the American people to come with me as I prepare a petition to go around the country. A petition that would carry weight. And the petition that would carry weight would be, you have 1 year of your president's office. 1 year. You have to do some of these changes that you're out professing that you're going to do. If you don't have it done by the end of the term of the first year when you're sworn into office, so help me God, I will circulate this petition in all 50 states. And this petition, and if there's more than 1,000 signatures gathered per state, then this presidential race will start again. You will serve until another president is elected. If we can do it in some states, and it's called a recall vote, we can do it with you as well. Because actually, you don't have all the power you profess to have. It's the legislative bodies as the Senate and Congress. They may send you your bills to be signed into law. You may veto all you want to. This is one thing that the American people should stand up for. Fight for what our forefathers wanted us to have. Equal opportunity for all. And I would like to see one more thing done. Let's take the credit organizations such as Equifax, TransUnion, and the other one. Let's do away with them completely. You know what's controlling America? Numbers that should never be in existence. If you've got an idea of something, or a business idea of something, or you're trying to improve yourself of taking a loan, those credit numbers that's out there hanging on you should be done away with. If every corporation in America that got bailouts by banks, car companies, and so on and so forth got bailouts, we should do away with the 3 major credit bureau systems, and also the business credit bureau system as well, called the Dunn system. I've got a stack of papers, probably 2 encyclopedias thick. And when I'm saying encyclopedias, or several encyclopedias thick, that I'm having to fill out in order to get a news organization started for myself. I can also say this. Forms should be made simplified as in one piece of paper to fill out, back and front, sign it, get it notarized, or what have you. Right now I'm waiting on a passport, because I want to save up the money. In my next birthday I would like to go see Italy, or I'd like to go see Canada. Who knows, between the two, who gets my biggest interest. So Americans, if you really want to elect a president, I urge you to do away with the Republican vote, the Democrat vote, and I am a Republican. I'm a liberal Republican, and I voted for Gary Johnson just so that people in Kentucky at least could show him some respect. There was once a man in eastern Kentucky named Gary C. Johnson. He was an attorney. He's an attorney down there. I respected that man to a certain point. So here's the deal. I'm offering you, as a person of the people, let's start circulating this petition before the November elections. And I think no candidate or no candidate's family can own or operate a voting machine no voting machine should be owned by a candidate or candidate's family. Mitt Romney, I think I would urge you to tell your son to sell those machines he's got to a private industry, because I can surely tell you this much. I urge you to do the right thing. Americans, start getting your, here is my physical address, or my mailing address that I'm going to give you. If you want to see a president recall notification given to all three candidates, and let them know that you're going to stand up for yourselves, get your heart off of the floor and put it back in your chest, and start living by the blood of your own righteousness. My address is 2170 Fort, F-O-R-T, Harrods, H-A-R-R-I-O-D-S, Drive, number 43, Lexington, Kentucky, 40513. And my name is Maston Ewing. If you will send me letters telling me what you think about a recall vote being issued for an American president that is seated. Richard Nixon was forced out of office by disgrace because of the deal that he had going on. And now, you know, we've had other presidents down the road that has done scandalous things, and they just got to stay there. Let's create a law. Let's make this law stick too. It can't be undone by the American people if we're voting. If we have to vote for a president, the president must sign off on a certified letter that states that if he can't get what he wants done in 1 year of his candidacy, he has to surrender and a new election established. I know it may cost out the wazoo to do this, but I think it would be better for the American people to have lived under presidents that's more worthwhile than what we've got. We need to go back when all these monies was being borrowed on our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren's backs, our children beyond that. I figured it out the other day, the national debt, and there was an accountant that stated that it would be 27 generations before all national debts was paid. 27 generations of children down the road. I urge you, as an American citizen, again, my address and my name is Maston Ross Ewing. MASTONROSSEWING. My address again is 2170 Fort, F-O-R-T, Harrods, H-A-R-R-I-O-D-S, Drive, number 43, Lexington, Kentucky, 40513. If you really want your presidents to live by the standards that they force us to live by, and force them to live under the same amount of money that they swear up and down that we get, or we should receive, let's get these letters flowing. I want to see the Postal Service have to back up to my door and give me tumblers of mail with your response to this video. Mr. Trump, I also ask you kindly, if you really want to help Americans out, take some of those billions of dollars that you've got and improve school systems across the country with that money in order to teach a quality education, not to do a stupid test and scare teachers to death by taking their jobs. I don't agree with the way the things are being done. Let's scare the people that created these tests. Let's start back in the basics and teach worthily deals. not something that's trash and rubbish. I do implore you to do these things. And by the way, teachers out there, use the same address. I want your input on if you're how your income is satisfactory to what your educational loans, grants that you had to apply for ran by your salary now. Also, let's lift from some restrictions on what we can and cannot do in this country. Let's actually start speaking our mind for once. If we did, I think it would be a lot better off. You know, the forefathers give us freedom of speech, freedom to bear arms, and freedom to do other things in this country. Let's live by it and do it. One night, as we were laying in our beds, there was a constitutional law that the American Bill of Rights and the Constitution was killed off. Did you all know that? If you don't believe me, write your congressman and ask them why that they voted this law in at midnight without nobody knowing anything about it, and let's start watching them a little closer. I think we need to have a watchdog group created in order to watch our politicians that's going to Washington, and let's limit terms that they serve. I think it would be better. I'll leave you all this in Christ's name. Also, if you want to reach out and call me personally and talk to me, I'm going to leave you a phone number as well that I have established. And any contribution you can make to me to keep these videos coming, my ideas of how things should run and what needs to be done here in this country, is that I want to hear your ideas. Because I've said this many times, I will run for, I wanted to get out of politics and not get back into it. I am going to run again someday. And everything that's in my past, I will inquire to the FBI, the CIA, and the Homeland Security people to run an extensive background check, and I will publish everything from page 1 to whatever, and I will reveal everything about myself as been known. My school records, my birth certificate, my social security information will be released to the people before I even run. So you can see what I'm about, so nobody can go digging around for other garbage or trying to create other garbage so that they can slander me. By the way, I think if you're going to mudsling one another, it's called slander. It's against the law. So there should be some things that you need to consider before running for public office. An anti-slander campaign or a law should be put in place to ensure that a candidate cannot say things bad about a candidate that is not true, or they forfeit their election and the other person instantly gets sworn in. My phone number here in Lexington, Kentucky for Ewing Enterprises and Ewing News Network is area code 859 296 4088. Again, 859 296 4088. And I would implore any of you that want to talk to me personally, call me. That number is open from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 p.m. at night. And then after 8 p.m., it gets sent to voicemail to where I can listen to my messages the next day. Again, my address is Maston Ross Ewing, 2170 Fort Harrods Drive, apartment 43, Lexington, Kentucky 40513. Send me whatever letters you see fit to do so. Also, phone number again before I close this out is 859 296 4088. May you have a blessed evening, and may we hear from you, and may I hear from you personally. I would love to get to know the rest of the American people. Because as of today, I am on a campaign to improve Americans and Americans' lives at that. One person at a time if necessary. But anyway, I want to hear your comments. Leave me some messages on this and any other video you see of me. Thank you.